What's up, everybody? How you doing? I'm Mike Watson, aka Most Epic, the most exclusive person in comics. Woo! Also, the publisher of Freestyle Comics and the lead creative there. Hope everyone's having a good night. We got a little bit of a later show tonight in the evening, but we're gonna make it happen, as we always do on this show called Chat and Draw, where we chat and I draw. We're gonna jump right into it and bring out our guest so he can tell us about the book and character that we'll be working on today.
Wait a second. A new opponent has interrupted the tournament.
Hey Matthew, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I am doing fine. Very good to have you on the show here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem at all, buddy. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell everybody what you bring to the chat today.
Yeah, so my name is Matthew Summo. I've been writing comics for on and off since 2009. So I've been in the game a little bit. We just recently wrapped up a Kickstarter for Summit Pinnacle, which is Summit is a shared universe of superheroes, all created by indie creators. The Pinnacle is kind of an introduction to that universe, bunch of short stories with all the different characters in it. So kind of an anthology, kind of not. We brought a character called the Diabolist, Pete Collins and I, character we created a while back, probably right around the start of COVID. And we created a short for a different anthology, and we found an opportunity to breathe a little life into this character and bring it to Summit. Summit gratefully accepted, and we're bringing his first story to the Pinnacle, which just wrapped up on Kickstarter like a couple of days ago.
All right, awesome. So let's go ahead and tab. All right. So go ahead and tell us about this character. Who is he? And
sure.
Where are we going to see him at in Summit?
Yeah,
congratulations on Summit too.
Yeah, thanks. Awesome book. I mean, we had a cover by Phil Hester, which is awesome. Some great characters in there. We have a couple other Kickstarters for other characters going on right now. But our character, the Diabolist, he's like a street level vigilante, like your Daredevils, your Batmans. You know, he has no powers to speak of, but he was, in his former life, he was an escape artist, like stage magician, very famous. He got framed for a crime he didn't commit and was sent to prison for that crime. And he escaped using his escape artistry. He escaped from prison. He's on the run, trying to figure out who framed him and why. So he adopts the mantle of the Diabolist, this skull mask wearing vigilante, to fight crime and clear his name.
All right. So just an escape artist, just regular human, enhanced agility or anything like that?
Not enhanced, just like he's trained in escape artistry. He's trained in like martial arts and parkour and things of that nature. So he has ability, but not enhanced.
Okay. All right. So will we see him doing stuff like or moving like how they move in Now You See Me?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. There's a little he moves a lot like if you've ever played Assassin's Creed. That kind of like he has that same movement style if he's moving around the city. Doesn't use a lot of flashy gadgets, maybe a smoke bomb here or there. It's a lot of like misdirection. A lot of the stuff he's learned as a magician / escape artist that he uses to kind of get by.
Mm-hmm. All right, so before we dive deeper on this character, what's your origin story into the world of comics?
Great question. I mean, I feel like most people have the same answer in that, like, I was a lifelong reader of comics. Like as soon as I was old enough to read, I had a comic book in my hand. And I feel like I was always creative by nature. Like I was always writing and reading, not just comics, but novels, etc. And one day I was like, I want to try to write comics. I think it would be something that would be fun to do, but I had no idea how to do it. Luckily, this is like right around the time where like internet message boards were a big thing. So I had joined a message board for the writer Jeff Johns. It was called the Comic Block at the time, and found other like indie creators and just pick their brain. Just ask them like, hey, can I talk to you about how you got into comics? How what are good resources to write scripts? Like what who can I reach out to as far as like artists? Like where do I find artists? All that stuff. And I really just hit the ground running. Like that was, I had a lot of good mentors along the way. Luckily, like one of the creators I connected with was local, so we would meet up in person, and he would just, I would just ask him questions and pick his brain. And I found I don't know if, I feel like no one really remembers this, but there was a message board called Digital Webbing.
Yeah, I remember digital webbing.
Yeah, so there was like a thread for just artists, and I just reached out. I was like, hey, I have this idea of this thing I want to work on. I put it up online. So Kablam, the printer, has a like print on demand service called Indie Planet.
Yeah.
And so you could just basically upload your book there and they would sell it print on demand. So I found an artist. I had a script that I did, and we published this one shot on Indie Planet. It sold like, I mostly sold probably to family and friends. I think I ordered 100 copies and sold 100 copies, which isn't terrible for a first time seller, but that kind of really, number one, opened up the floodgates for me, where it was like this, now I have the bug, right? As soon as you hold that first thing that you created in your hands, and it's like, oh, this is like what was living in my head now come to life. It's you're chasing that high every single time. Like that feeling doesn't go away. Every project I finish and I get to hold a finished copy in my hand, like no matter how small or big it is, like I still get that same feeling that I got all those years ago. So I was fortunate enough. Comics is weird, right? There's like no two ways to move in comics. I feel like,
yeah,
I saw a job posting for a company that was looking for an editor, and I didn't know like who the company was. It was just like comic book company looking for an editor. So I was like, okay, like I created my own comic, like from start to finish, essentially, I did everything but draw it. I even lettered it, and it was terrible. But I was like, I could edit a comic book. Here's the proof. I have the physical version of what I've done. So I found out, for whatever reason, the mailing address was attached to this job posting. So I sent a physical copy of my book via FedEx. Now I got advice from it was like some podcast years ago. They're like, if you ever want somebody to open a package from you, send it via FedEx, because they'll always open it. It's not like if it goes via snail mail, they might throw it in like a slush pile or something. They're like, if you want to be undeniable, send something via FedEx. So I took that advice. I must have spent maybe like $30-$40 to send a single issue comic in the mail via FedEx. But I had like a cover letter. I put it in like a nice like binder, all very professional. I use air quotes when I say that. And I sent it to this company, and I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, all right, maybe I'll hear from them, maybe I won't. Fast forward, maybe like a week later, I got an email from someone at the company, and it turned out the company was world famous video game publisher Take-Two Interactive, who publishes Grand Theft Auto, the WWE 2K series, all the 2K games is Take-Two Interactive, BioShock, these huge, like insane games. So I get an email from this woman who, I don't think she works there anymore, but with it was like at Take Two Interactive. So I'm like, my mind is blown at this point. I'm like, this is insane. And they were like, hey, we liked your writing sample, which is funny because it wasn't really a writing sample as much as it was just like a sample of what I could do in a comic book, like holistically. And they're like, would you want to write for us? And they said, what's your page rate? Which at the time, like, I don't know stuff about page rates. I'm a new creator, right? Like, that's all brand new to me. So I talked to my buddy who I met on that message board, and I was like, hey, like, as a new creator, like, what do you think my page rate should be? And he gave me like a very low number. It was something like 30, I think maybe $50 negotiable. That's what he told me to write. And so I wrote that or whatever. And they're like, yeah, no problem. Here's what we're working on. We want you to submit like story ideas for this project. We went through a bunch of different things. I mean, they did like a riff on like Planet of the Apes. There was another one about like people joining this like super secret society. All this weird, there's an Animal Farm kind of riff that they were working on, a bunch of very weird stories. I pitched for everything they had. Luckily I got paid, even though the stuff didn't get picked up, which is nice. But eventually, like, none of the things they worked on stuck. Like, there was nothing was ever really moving forward. I think maybe I pitched for them 5 different things. It all kind of dried up. They were like, hey, like, thank you. We're going to move in a different direction. Sure. Then it comes out, I think, in the news not too long after that, they were working on Night of the Living Dead famously has like fell into the public domain very shortly after it was created due to like a filing mishap.
Oh, wow.
So anyone could use that property is just like up for grabs. So they announced that they were going to do Night of the Living Dead comics, which have been done by other companies. And I reached out to one of the contacts there that I had, and I said, hey, listen, like, I would love a chance to pitch for this. Can I pitch for it? And they said, yeah, we think you'd actually be really good for this. Like, we kind of have an idea of what you could do. And I pitched them what I wanted to do, pitch some characters. And it turned into, I had like a 5-issue miniseries with them called Dedication. It's about a bunch of kids working the overnight shift at a supermarket during the Night of the Living Dead. We were about to do like the sequel to that. It got weird. It was like zombies, and then like the kids got like superpowers. It got to be really strange. But we were about to do like another series of books after that first 5, and then they announced that like Take Two announced they were not doing comics anymore. They're like, we're getting out of the comic book game altogether. And that ended, unfortunately, but that was like my real introduction into like work for hire, working for like a major-ish publisher, getting exposure to like doing conventions and working at like a publisher booth, and again, just being around that sort of pedigree of companies. It really just like opened the floodgates for me as far as like doing comics, making connections, and the rest is history. I've been doing comics ever since.
Dude, that's pretty damn awesome.
That's like the very long story. Sorry, but that's
what are you talking about? The show's called Chat and Draw. We're chatting. Yeah. That was a great story, dog. So like, yeah, you're great. That's
it's,
an awesome.
It's been a long, strange trip. What's that? Right. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was like, no, man, that was a really good story. It's good to hear those things, man. It's good to hear. Yeah, that's why I like to ask everybody like their process and stuff, and like what is their origin story, because everybody's story is different. You come across different things that's so great that you kind of stumbled into that and then took full fucking advantage of it. That's what's up.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other other than like sending something via FedEx, which I think is great advice. The other good advice is like the worst they could say is no.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I could have sent them that book and they were like, no, thanks, not for us. And I would have moved on with my life. But they said they took a chance on me, like a non-established creator whatsoever. And that like really sort of changed the trajectory of my life in a weird way. I mean, ultimately, like I work a full-time job. Like I work on comics on the side, but like it's still now it's like this passion that I have that like never goes away, despite everything else that goes on in my life. I always come back to comics because, like, again, I remember that every single time I got a new book, it was like, I just wanted that feeling over and over again.
I feel it. I like that very much, man. It's a great story.
Thanks, man.
All right, now this process for this character here, what was the process like creating this character?
Great question. It went through a lot of variations. Pete, my co-creator for this character, the main artist on all of the projects that we work on, he is, I don't know how to explain. He is like a mastermind. Like we'll just spitball ideas and he'll draw something really quick and say, hey, what do you think of this? And we'll just tinker it. I remember in the beginning, I didn't really have a visual I wanted other than what I really was like obsessed with at the time. And I still do kind of like it now that I think about it, is in Arrow, the TV show Arrow, he had in the beginning, like instead of the mask, the domino mask, he had like grease paint across his eyes to hide his identity. And I was like, that's a cool visual. Like, let's do something like that. He did it and it looked okay, but like it wasn't striking. So he went back to the drawing board. A lot of it, like hilariously in the beginning, like the first couple of takes he did looked like a guy wearing like cargo pants and like an Under Armour shirt. Like he just looked very like boring. But he came back. The first thing he did that we were like, this is the look, was the skull mask. I like the half skull mask. It's like a cool portable sort of thing that he could take on and off with ease. It's not something cumbersome, for somebody that's going to be jumping off rooftops and flipping around. Like, you need something that is going to be easily removable. And the second thing he came up with was that kind of skull design on the shirt, which makes it look less like a plain Under Armour shirt and just looks like a cool, something striking that we could just do. Like if he's standing in the shadows, like maybe you just see the outline of like the bone designs on the shirt, right?
Yeah.
I just thought like all that stuff, like, yes, he has like there's like we also approach it from like a Batman Begins sort of frame where it's like everything has to have a reason and a purpose. Like he doesn't wear like, he wears like sneakers, right? Because he's going to be moving around, but like, and he has he does have cargo pants, but they're used to carry items, right? But I think it's the visual is something that we really stuck with. We wanted something that was, obviously very cool looking, but something that's kind of striking, something that you'll remember. The other thing he came up with too was, as an escaped convict, like he's going to want to hide his identity, and he dyes his hair white. So that's another like striking image to add to the whiteness of the bone mask, is like his bright white hair.
There we go. All right, and that's really cool. So, very thorough process from you guys, and I like hearing that as well. Like, what are the missteps? Like, what hit, what didn't hit? Like when you guys are working on this, because everything you do out the gate, a lot of times isn't it, and you have to kind of filter through until you find your way. And I like hearing that
Sure.
process from creators. Like I think we should hear it from people. So how did you get entangled with the summit?
So it was really Pete. I mean, I've like, I move in similar circles. Obviously, comics. What I say about comics to people that are getting into comics is like that the comics community is a lot smaller than you think it is. Like we all kind of like we will meet people like down the like at conventions or whatever, but like ultimately you're going to run into people who know other people that you know, and vice versa. Like it's just it's huge. There's a ton of creators, but it's not. It feels a lot larger than it actually is. So I've known Travis. I've kind of seen him around just through like mutual friends. I've done one anthology with him, Holiday Spirits, and Pete, who I met at so Pete and I worked together at our day jobs, and we met at our day job, and we've been kind of working on comics for a while, since COVID. Pete kind of was like, you know, a newer creator in comics, so he was like, we're doing like these creator trading cards. So he would draw like an X-Men style trading card. Like you could commission him and he'll draw like a business card, trading card for you, in any style or whatever you want. So he was like constantly promoting himself, like making all these connections with other creators and stuff. And he got linked up with them, after we did Holiday Spirits. So he got in on the ground floor of Summit, and he was just kind of like, I talked to Pete probably every single day, and he was just sharing with me like what he was working on for them. He was designing a lot of the characters for them, doing character sheets, all sorts of things like that. And I had just asked him, I said, you know, we have Diabolist, like we did one story for him, like we keep coming back to this character. Just to rewind, we were working on that character at the beginning of COVID, and then we put it to the side to work on our graphic novel Bardic Verses, and then we didn't come back to it until we had the opportunity to tell a story, a very short Diablo story in an anthology. So I was like, listen, we keep coming back to this character. Like, I want to tell this story. I think this story is fresh. It's something that like I feel like is viable. I feel like people will enjoy it. You know, I see you're working with the Summit guys. Like, would they want to publish the Diablo story, and then we can kind of build off of that and tell more stories? Like, get this character out there. Like, I think it would be good. They didn't really have a lot of street level vigilantes, so I was like, this would be perfect for them. And he pitched it to them, and they said, sure. Like, we have the Pinnacle book coming up. Like, you have this story. This story's already done. It was already, you know, drawn, colored, lettered. It was ready for prime time. So
all right.
Yeah, we were able to just go, here you go. Here's 8 pages of story that you guys can do whatever you want with. And,
right, you were already dressed for the show.
Yeah. So we had a leg up above everybody else that was involved because our stuff was already done. And they, you know, they put us in the book. The rest is history. And now we're working on, they're doing like sort of like a Marvel Comics Presents. It's called Summit Comics Presents, where it's like 2 stories with 2 different characters, and we're working on a story. It'll be told over 3 issues. It's 8 pages per. It'll be 1 story across 3 issues of the Diabolist, and then we'll be paired up with another character. I don't know. We haven't gotten that far who we're going to be with, but we're excited to like have more opportunities to just tell more stories.
Yeah, awesome. So how many people have drawn this character so far?
You are officially the 3rd person to draw this character. Maybe right. No, 4th. So the other 2 were co-workers of Pete and I, our buddies Nick and Carlos, who were initially involved. Carlos actually, that original short that we did that's in Pinnacle, Carlos did the inks on that. Carlos has drawn Diabolist on his own. Nick, who we were working on the initial, so we had started a couple of pages of a Diabolist story before that anthology. They didn't really go anywhere. We couldn't really. The story wasn't there yet. The character wasn't there yet. So everything we did, like we weren't really that pleased with. So our buddy Nick, like he was actually drawing a couple of those pages at that time because Pete and I were like in the middle of putting together the idea for the Bardic Verses, which really we like. Once we had that idea, we took off and ran with it. So yeah, you are now officially the fourth person to draw Diabolist.
Alrighty there. What? Oh, Paige says, what part of Long Island? I'm sorry, Paige, I didn't see that till now.
I am in Hicksville, Long Island. From North Babylon initially, but I currently reside in Hicksville.
Ron, what's up, man? How you doing? I hope I'm doing the character.
Dude, that's awesome.
Here. Thank you. I like the characters. Like I think this is like the third character from Summit that I've drawn, and I really do like how these designs have come around for you guys. I think they're really good.
Yeah, Pete's been a big part of finalizing a lot of the looks for the characters. I think there's a small handful of them that came like already, like the character Granite, who's like the big strong lady character, I call her. That character came like already ready to go, and as a matter of fact, it has the issue 1 of that book is live on Kickstarter, has 7 days to go. But a couple of them were like pre-done before Summit, and then a lot of that stuff has been done designed by Pete post, once Summit was created, once Pete was brought on board, he was designing a lot of the characters.
Mm-hmm. This is my favorite part. I'm pretty impatient right now because I'm like outside, and I just want to get them in there.
Dude, it looks great.
Thank you. Yeah, like this is a very nice stylized character, man. Like, I don't know, like has that grit. That grit that you're talking about. He has like. This is like a hard motherfucker. Like I'm not trying to meet this. I'm not trying to face off against this dude in the alleyway or whatnot. Looks like somebody that would give Batman a nice little run for his money. Like Batman,
yeah, sure.
Batman might initially sleep on him, and then he catches a couple jabs from him. Like, oh, you know what you're doing here. Like, all right, let's.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's misdirection, right? He's going to show you something over here and then hit you with the right.
Yeah.
Are you primarily digital, or do you dabble in physical and digital art?
I will do traditional work for commissions at conventions and stuff like that. I've been digital since the pandemic.
I give Pete a little shit because he is digital. He's all digital.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't love physical art. He feels like digital is better for suits his style more. But I do razz him a little bit because I'm like, you could be making a fortune going to conventions and taking commissions. You should really reconsider. And also like selling pages, like selling all sorts of like original art.
Yeah.
There is something to that. Like you should do like the majority of your work digital if that helps you, but then you're missing out on the convention circuit.
No, you're absolutely right. I take that L every time I go to a convention. I use them on pages and I sell them. I used to sell them to people that were interested in them. But just the damn convenience of just having to just carry around my iPad and I can work on my art and my books anywhere I want and coming home.
Sure, but you're also you'll take physical commissions at the show, right? So it's like you're at least supplementing your income in that way, where it's like if you're all digital, like the only thing you're selling, if you're smart, is prints, right?
Yeah.
And then it's just like it's not the same. Like people
No, absolutely.
A buddy of mine, this guy Jeff, he collects original. He'll get commissions from anyone. He has binders, like big binders filled with commissions that he's had done. He loves the Teen Titans. He's gotten every artist you could think of to draw the Teen Titans, and he'll have multiple artists do it. But just he has binders and binders and binders full of commissions that he's gotten from artists. So there's obviously market for that. Like you never know. So I'm always like, whenever we talk about doing shows, I'm like, hey man, you should take commissions. Like you'd be surprised.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I do love it when people come up to me with sketchbooks and like, hey, can you draw in here? Like, somebody have a sketchbook with like, nothing but gambits, and because they want to get everybody's gambit and stuff like that. Or they'll say, hey, here's my sketchbook, man. Just draw whatever you want in here. I've gotten a couple times like people doing like T-shirts. Like they'll bring a stretched out shirt and say, hey, can you draw in this corner?
That's a cool idea.
Yeah,
I mean, that's got to be annoying that when you want to wash that, but that's a cool idea. Because after a while, that's gonna fade. Like there's no.
Yeah. So, what are you watching right now as a fan?
Ooh. What am I watching? I'm not currently watching anything. I'm a gamer when I'm not working or writing. I just completed Resident Evil 9, which is incredible.
Oh my goodness. Hats off to you.
Yeah.
I'm a whole bitch. I can't do it.
It's so good though. Like
that's what I'm hearing.
It's probably the scariest the game has been. But they balance it nicely. So it's like there's portions of the game that are straight up like a horror movie, and then there's portions of the games that are like it's an action movie. So it's a nice break. So I played that, and then I play Arc Raiders a lot. It's like an online game I play with my buddies. Yeah.
My friends trying to get me into that.
It's fun.
I just can't do it.
Listen, if you don't like, if you're not like a shooter guy, if you don't like having to run around and loot items and then make sure you get out of the round safely, there's just a lot. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to know. It's not really. It's as casual as those kind of games can be, but it's not a casual game. It's not a pick up, play like 15 minutes like before you have to go to work or something and then put it down. Like you have to invest time into it. If you don't have the time to invest in it, it's not going to be worth it. Yeah,
that's kind of the feeling I got.
Like Resident Evil, you could pick up and play like 5-10 minutes of that and then be like, okay, I'm going to put this down and go do something else. Arc Raiders, you cannot do that. It's impossible.
Well, my feelings were correct, man. And I'm playing Horizon Forbidden West right now.
Great game, great series.
I just finished Ghost of Tsushima 2. So right now I am waiting for what is it? Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert. Okay. I'm waiting for that, and Crimson Desert and Fable and Wolverine are going to lock me up this year.
Yeah. Wolverine looks incredible. That Insomniac, that publisher, like those games are incredible from, they haven't made a bad game yet.
Yeah.
Fable is, those games are awesome. That's going to be really good. I'm not so familiar with Crimson Desert, but like what a time. And then GTA is like around the corner. What a time to be a gamer.
And GTA can stay around the corner. Not if they're talking about it's going to cost as much as it is and be as big as it is as far as like hard drive space and stuff, GTA can kiss all of my ass. I'm not doing that. I refuse. Like I'll pay $100 for a game, but like that's my choice because like
Sure.
that's the cost of the collector's edition. Like I'll do that, for a
Right. If
collector's
you want
edition.
to, sure. I mean, here's the thing. I'm locked into GTA. I've been playing GTA since GTA 1. So whatever they want to charge for it, I'll pay it. But I think that they don't have to charge that much because the game is still going to do crazy numbers.
No, they don't have to charge that much. They don't. They can charge the regular damn price. And I'm willing to get the base edition for the regular damn price.
I think
but you're not about to charge me base. Like
I agree.
When I play games like Witcher 3, Ghost of Tsushima, and like I put massive hours into those games, Horizon, stuff like that. That comes at $65, $70.
Sure.
And then if the game is good, I will get your DLC. If it's good, I will pay for it. And that, and that puts me at $100. But you're not about to get me for $140 at the base. Because the moment we do that, then all these other games that are dog shit are going to say, oh, we can charge that price too.
I know. It does set a bad precedent. That's why I think they won't do it, because it sets a bad precedent. But I will say that they're the only studio that could get away with it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
They have that fan base is so feverish. I mean, they've been playing the same fucking game for how many years now? They've
10
been
years?
playing. Yeah, like the online community is huge. Like they don't even have to release another one because people will just keep playing this one. So there is the opportunity for them to do that, but I don't think they will because it's just not. It's not a good look. And they can make that kind of money with charging $70 for that game. They can make that kind of money charging $50 for that game because it's gonna do crazy numbers. So there's really no I truly don't believe that they're going to do that. If they do, it's because it's some crazy big special edition because they've done big special editions for those games pretty much every single time they've released one. So I think if they're charging that kind of money, it's going to be for something like that.
And I agree with that. That is fine. Your collector's edition comes with some crazy ass shit, and you want to charge $150, $200 for that. More power to you, chief. But and then because I'm struggling to pay the $70. Damn it, because I definitely didn't want to go up to that price.
Yeah, I feel like that was strange how quickly we jumped from 60 to 70. It felt like when PS4 was like towards the end of its life cycle, it's like, all right, games are $60. And then when PS5 was announced, they're like, nope, now they're 70. It's like, what do you mean? Like,
what's happening? We didn't
this is crazy. It. Yeah. You didn't run this past me. This is crazy. But I mean, here's the thing. I think for a game like GTA, I don't mind the price because you get so much value. That's what I'm looking for, right? I want a game that's going to take, like Ghost of Tsushima. I would gladly pay that much money for that game because, like you said, you put a lot of hours into it. I paid full price for games that I've beaten in 10 hours, and I'm like, this is not worth the amount of money I paid for it.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I know going in, I know with a GTA, I'm going to get that kind of hours. I know with Ghost of Yote, which if you haven't played that yet, that game's incredible. With Ghost of Yote, like I put a bunch of hours into that. Resident Evil.
That's the one. I played both of them. That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. The games that I know I'm going to put a lot of hours into, especially like the open world stuff, like that I have no problem with. It's like the short story games that I'm going to bang out over a weekend, like that I have a problem with. This game, Raiders, for example, Arc Raiders, I've put close to 300 hours into that game.
Oh, wow.
I paid $40 for that game. Like, that I would say that's like beyond what, you know what I mean? Like that's,
Yeah,
I got so much value out of that $40 that, you know, I would have gladly paid double for that because of the
Yeah, see,
amount
I
of
hear
time I
that
put
because
into it.
like Ghost, I must have put like 90 hours into Ghost of Yotei. Dragon's Dogma 2, 200 hours. Fucking
Yeah, and that's the
World
that,
of
those are the games you look back, you're like, I would have paid so much money for this.
right. I'm
For
here
the
for
amount of
it.
enjoyment I
Monster
had.
Hunter World, 200 hours into that. So, but you know, when you get games that are that well put together, that have that much gameplay in them, and like, dude, this is what I got for base. We're not even talking about the DLC. This is base.
Yeah.
This is base content. And you're gonna, you know, and I know it's not confirmed. It's a bunch of rumor, but you know, you guys are coming out the gate talking about something, yeah, possibly 150 for the base of this game. When I got games at their base for $70 and I'm putting 200, 300 hours into them.
The only way I would see them doing this is if they had competition, if there was some other company that made a GTA level game that was releasing at the same time, which that's the other thing. The craziest thing is that the video game industry is like needs them to commit to whatever date that game is coming out because they don't want any other games coming out during that time because they're not going to do well. Like they moved the date and the video game industry like had a heart attack because it's like, oh, we just lost, like we moved all these other games out of the way to make room for GTA because we're not going to be able to compete. But because they don't have anything that will necessarily compete, I think they're not going to be able to get away with $100.
Yeah,
but I could be wrong. Listen, like again, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those sickos that I'll pay the $100 because I know how much value I'm going to get. I'm not saying it's right. I don't agree with it. I think it's a bad business decision. I think, you know, again, they'll do those numbers without raising. They could probably even lower the price and still do the numbers. Like,
yeah.
But I would pay that because I know how much value.
Well, we'll see what they do. I mean, if it's base, I'm going to get it because I'm interested in it just for the sheer, you know, the amount of detail and graphics and how alive the world is. I just want to play that. I don't even care about the story, man.
Sure,
it's
yeah.
just
I mean,
all the stuff that we've seen, all the mechanics. I'm like, that's impressive.
And that's the thing. They bring it, right? Their track record is almost flawless. Yeah. So it's like, you know, that it's going to be top of the line. Like that's the thing too. Like they come out with games that no other game is able to top visually because they're using the hardware at its fullest extent, where no one else is really doing that outside of like Sony's own internal developers.
Right. And that's the other thing. Like the PS5 has been out like 7 years now or something. And we're just now getting people pulling the potential of the system out now.
Well, so here's why.
Oh, I think I lost you.
After COVID. And the reason why couldn't use it to its full potential because they were still making games for PS4. Because people couldn't get PS5s. Like, remember, they were like hard to get. So they were like, all right, well, we can't alienate the PS4 audience because not everyone has a PS5. So now, because PS5s are easier to get, they're finally just like, we're leaving PS4 behind. We're all games are just PS5 only.
Hey, I hear you, and that makes sense. But I say, damn all that. You got the PS5 out. Go ahead and make the fucking games.
Listen, I agree with you.
There are more than enough games on PS4 to keep people occupied with PS4. More than enough.
I agree.
I know. That is, and I can understand that being a reason. I don't agree with that reason. If you spent the fucking money to make this damn system when I don't even think we need it, then you spend the money to make the games for the system when it comes out.
I agree.
Because I feel like you're doing it to yourself at that point. Well, all right, Matt. We got your piece done. I'm gonna send that to you, man. That's gonna be yours to do whatever you guys want with it.
Thank you so much.
No problem, man. It was a pleasure drawing the character. I want to thank you for coming out to the show. I hope you guys continue your massive success that you guys are having. We'll get this
Fingers
over
crossed.
to you. I feel like we had a good conversation, man. It was a good conversation tonight.
Yeah, man, it was awesome.
Do you want to give people your socials so they can follow you and stuff?
Yeah, man, I'm literally everywhere you can be on social media. At MattManBegins.
Okay. Season 4. I'm trying to. There it goes. Yeah, I'm emailing it to you right now, buddy.
Awesome,
so yeah,
dude.
please go ahead and give this guy a follow. And don't hesitate. You got any new projects or anything like that? Bring them to Chat and Draw. We'll get them drawn up, and we'll continue the conversation.
Awesome, dude. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. Everybody, if you enjoyed this episode of Chat and Draw, please like, follow, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I'm at 817 subscriptions. We're trying to get to 1,000 so we can monetize this bad boy. We're going to leave you with a preview of Hot Shot, and then we're taking off tonight. New chapter of Hot Shot, issue 14, coming out in April. Travis Gibb wrote this one. Brian Wolf drew this one. And that's going to lead us right into issue 15, that Ace Blade crossover. So we're not stopping. I've ordered stuff for the Kickstarter already. The stickers, the Geminis, our poly bags, our acrylic charms. Those are all been ordered. So I should be getting those in about a week and a half. The t-shirts, I've sent off some t-shirts to people. And I got the books upstairs. So as soon as I get the Geminis and all that stuff, we're going to start shipping Hot Shot 13 to everybody. So here's the previews. And if you want to get Hot Shot 14, you can. And don't worry, we got all the trades available as well. Thanks again, Matthew. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks, man.
So, starting off, I'm Mike Watson, aka Hotshot. I don't know how I got my powers, but I've been using them to save lives, just like my hero, Justice. I've done team ups, even saved the city once or twice. I couldn't save her. This hero's life, it's more than just me. But hey, great power, right? I chose this to be more than a geek, a student, or even a friend. To be a hero. And I'm just getting started.